2022 has been the best year ever for exciting new electric scooters, and we just got early access to one of the most innovative scooters yet, and the man behind it. This is Taur, a scooter so unique that, like Sting or Madonna, it only has one name, and ESG is the first in the world with a full test and review. Watch this review and find out what it's like to ride a scooter with no deck, and why this design has a huge advantage when it comes to stability and portability. Taur made a big splash over a year ago with possibly the best scooter intro video ever, and certainly one of the most unusual scooter designs. Then they went quiet while they finalized the design, but now it's here. We've got to start with the most unusual part of the design. Folding footrests on each side of the frame tube are the secret to fitting huge tires on a very portable scooter. So you get the best of both worlds, e-bike stability, but kick scooter portability. I thought it might feel unbalanced kicking off with one foot off center, but it was way more normal than I expected and as easy to launch as any kick to start scooter I've ridden. You can also shift your weight forward and back more than you'd think. For hard braking, I'd hang my heels off the back a little and do the opposite for climbing hills. Though on the steepest hills, you can still feel the front tire struggling for grip. The most surprising thing was discovering that having your feet set wide and low gives it truly exceptional corner carving ability. Now I understand why ESC scooter racers are using such wide stances. The ride is incredibly stable because of the huge tires and a large 17-degree rake angle. Only the GT2 has more. The 12.5-inch tires roll over potholes better than typical 8 to 10-inch tires, and just like on a bike, big air-filled tires mean you get a relatively smooth ride without the need for suspension. The unique monotube frame is really stiff, and the latch, while not the most intuitive to use, results in a solid ride with zero stem wobble. The low platform height works well for commuters with a lot of stop and go, and for shorter riders because it's a short step up when the light turns green. This also makes it easier to operate as a kick scooter if you ever run out of battery. Taur has a very rare type of front brake, variable regen. Unlike conventional regenerative brakes, which are either on or off, on Taur, the harder you squeeze, the more regen brake you get. But no matter how hard you squeeze, it won't put you over the handlebars. The same brake lever also controls a semi-hydraulic disc brake at the rear wheel. The build is minimalist, but does everything you need it to do. The bars are a comfortable shape, and the cool custom grips also help stabilize the scooter when parked on end. The display has a cool 3D effect to it and a very simple layout. We'll let Carson himself take you through it.
A few of the ways that you can control the scooter is obviously through the joystick, and that's on your left-hand side, so your thumb. So if you go to the left, you can change the performance modes. So those toggle momentarily. When you select what you want, you just release. Now our default screen is actually battery. So this shows the battery in 5 segments, and this actually runs down anti-clockwise. And then if you'd like to turn on the lights, you just push to the right. What you can see in this reflection is actually the projection light shining up. Usually a person would be in the way of that. And the front light's on as well. Now, whether the light is on or off, you always have the brake lights on when pulled. And very soon coming, as I mentioned earlier, when you press in, that will be cruise control. So we're building out a feature set, which I think will be interesting, but the idea is that while you're riding, even if your hand is on the brake, you're able to still use the joystick.
I have to admit that I thought the joystick seemed like a gimmick, but it's not. On cars and motorcycles, all of the most important controls are made to be used without taking your eyes off the road. But recently, scooters like the Segway GT2 and Taur have gotten the same treatment. I happened to pass Carson on the road during my range test and used the joystick to beep at him without even looking down. Taur was designed in London, so it makes sense that you can ride it in the rain. Don't get too carried away though. While Taur has an unusually long 2-year warranty, it doesn't cover completely submerging your scooter. Rear fender coverage looks very good, but wear waterproof shoes because your toes will probably get wet. The Continental brand tires take an unusual approach to preventing flats. They're Kevlar belted, and according to internal testing at Taur, they really work to prevent flats. If you do get a flat, 12.5 inches is a common bicycle tire size, so you can pick up tubes at any local bike shop or get them next day from Amazon for dirt cheap. Because they're bicycle tires, they're also easier to swap than small, stiff scooter tires. Charging time is an astoundingly short 2 hours to 80% charge, or 3 hours from empty to full. The cells are conventional 18650 cells mounted in the stem. This final build quality fact will blow your mind. Taur scooters for US customers will be assembled and tested right here in the US. While it's not the quickest to fold, Taur's 37.6-pound tested weight and narrow folded platforms make it relatively easy to carry, and it'll fit in pretty much any trunk. When you get where you're going, you can stand it vertically so no one will trip over it. If you don't feel like bringing it inside, that's okay too. It's the only scooter we know of that comes with a designated locking point. And so you won't have to wonder how it's doing, Taur plans to include cellular location tracking in their upcoming app. Taur's ESG certified top speed of 21.7 miles per hour means it's fast enough to breeze by bikes in the bike lane or briefly merge with car traffic when you need to make a left-hand turn. Anything with a top speed above 20 miles per hour is great for commuting. On our hilly urban range test course, Taur covered 12.1 miles in top performance mode and sustained 17 to 20 miles per hour up steep hills. They've used conservative BMS charging settings, so production units should cover at least this many miles. At about 10% remaining charge, the gauge turned red and top speed dropped to about 10 miles per hour on flat ground. 1.4 miles later, it stopped going. Acceleration from the thumb throttle is smooth but quick. Power starts off soft and ramps up automatically, with 15 miles an hour arriving in just 4.8 seconds. This beats the 9BOT Max and even the new U-Scooter's GT Sport. It didn't beat the Max to the top of our super steep 10% grade test hill though, arriving at the top in 17.4 seconds to the Max's 16 flat. Taur has a great patented safety feature we'd like to see show up on all scooters, and they already do a bunch of other stuff right. Brakes that won't put you over the handlebars, a stable ride, buttons that don't make you look down, and big tires that won't get sucked into potholes. But the coolest safety feature of all is the patented projector beam taillight. It illuminates the rider from behind, solving the problem of ankle-high taillights, which can be hard to see. The biggest pro is that it does something previously impossible. It puts the bicycle-like stability of huge tires into a very portable scooter. Other pros include the ability to park vertically, ultra-short charging time, and it includes cellular hardware to support features like the ability to track your scooter with the app if it's stolen. Cons include it's a premium scooter at a premium price. Display can be difficult to read in direct sunlight. Range is relatively short, and they haven't started shipping yet, so you'll have to wait a few weeks or more to get one. While you're doing your research, here are a few other scooters with similar prices and performance. The Apollo City Pro has higher top speed and longer range, but is almost twice as heavy and a little more expensive. Unagi Model 1 E500 is lighter, less expensive, and even more portable, but smaller solid tires mean ride quality and stability aren't as good. The Dualtron Mini is much faster and has much longer range, but also much heavier and has no IP rating. Taur is like nothing we've seen before, and we just love looking at it, but its true superpower is that it combines the best things about e-bikes with the best thing about kick scooters while taking up less space in your apartment than either of them. We wish it had a little more range, but we think it makes a great city commuter or weekend ride to go hang out with friends, regardless of whether you're a new rider or have been riding for years. After 2 days of riding and testing, I was still finding new things I liked about this riding style. Don't forget to scroll down to the video's description where you'll find a purchase link to the only place you can get your own Taur. And let us know in the comments what you think about the scooter. For more detail on Taur, check out our in-depth interview with Carson Brown, or check out this other ESG video.